Stand and be seated at the appropriate times. This ceremony is considered an indoor ceremony. As a reminder, during the national anthem and Air Force song, military members should stand at attention. During the national anthem, our civilian guests are invited to place their right hand over their heart. We request that all electronic devices be turned off or silenced for the duration of the ceremony. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pacific Air Forces extends a warm welcome to family and friends who have joined us today as we pay tribute to Captain Jason Pigg on the occasion of his promotion to Major. The presiding officer for today's ceremony is Colonel Richard Palmer, Chief of Medical Readiness Division, Headquarters Pacific Air Forces. It is my pleasure to recognize some of the distinguished guests with us today as we celebrate this memorable occasion. I'd ask that you please hold your applause until I have introduced everybody. Thank you. Captain Jason Pigg's wife, Miss Jessica Pigg. Pacific Air Forces also welcomes Colonel Susan Moran, Colonel Brent Johnson, Chief Scott Piper, directors, friends, and family that have traveled here to congratulate Captain Pigg and his family. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem in Hawaii Pono'i.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the Kalani ali ke ali makualani kamehameha nakawa
Thank you, Master Sergeant Magzino. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Colonel Palmer, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Colonel Moran, Colonel Johnson, Chief Piper, the rest of the team, family, and friends, thank you all for attending Jason's ceremony today. We were looking out here earlier, and if you look at the dew or the raindrops, sprinkles, whatever you want to call it, it almost looks like Hawaii in the winter. So, you don't get that too often. It's kind of cool. Jason, thank you for allowing me to participate in your ceremony today. As always, these things take a try to fix these things up. There's a lot of folks, aside from G up here on the front stage, Mags up here on the front stage, that took care of, I think, the luncheon or some snacks afterwards. So all those folks that had the behind-the-scenes stuff, thank you very much for helping us out with that. Sandy, you never failed to impress. She got some pipes, man. She sings it with enthusiasm. G, thanks for narrating. You guys were supposed to hold your applause until I said, let's give them another. But G, thanks for narrating as well. I will try to make this quick, and I will try to stay on script because when I start ad-libbing, my stuff starts getting really long. So pardon me if I sound a little scripted, but there's some important stuff in here that I want to make sure that I get out to Jason that I probably would forget once I started ad-libbing. So today is a glorious day for Jason and his family, not only because of his promotion, nor the extra $600 he's going to get on basic pay. Nor the extra $200 you're going to get on BAH. But by golly jeepers, I hope you filled out that COLA survey, because I don't know what's going on with that. But this is really quite an accomplishment because you're not just being promoted, you're graduating from being a company grade officer to a field grade officer. It gets a little bit more competitive, not so much with MSCs, because I think the promotion rate is still around 95%, so you really got to screw up. But the competition gets a little bit stronger because we are starting to look for the best of the best, and then we're starting to weed out the folks that don't really need to be in the Air Force. So this is quite an accomplishment to become a field grade officer in the military. So I know a lot of you guys know Jason as an airman, and typically we start off by talking about the career of the airman, but I want you to know Jason a little bit more as an individual outside of the uniform. So just a few things about him. He hails from a small town called Carbondale, Illinois, approximately 25,000 population. He was an athlete in high school, lettered in football and wrestling. One of the things he really liked to do when he was growing up as a kid was spending the summers out at Lake of Egypt with his grandparents, swimming, fishing, and stuff like that. I think that's kind of where he got the outdoorsy type of thing, because he is a true outdoorsman. He loves hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, loves watching movies with his family. His favorite movie is Band of Brothers, which I don't know if it's a movie, it's a series, or a really, really long movie. But I really like that too, so I think that he's a kind of a military buff. He loves surf and turf. Have you ever been up to Fairbanks? He loves surf and turf at Fairbanks, Alaska. But when Jess is cooking, he really likes your chicken enchiladas. And if he's still got room after he eats them, he would go for any kind of good cheesecake. So that's Jason. He planned on staying in the military for a while, as long as he's having fun, and the MSC Corps will keep him around. But when they do decide to retire, right now they're looking at Southern Alaska. I know I've changed about a half dozen times in my career. Every place I go to, it's like, wow, I'm going to retire here. So right now it's Southern Alaska, so hopefully that pans out. But with that said, what about Jason and Airman? It all started when he was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened. It moved him like it moved a lot of us during that same period of time, patriotism. This incident was a catalyst that stimulated his interest in the military. However, he already had plans to go to Southern Illinois University to go to school, and it's a pretty darn good thing that he did, right? I think that's where he met his boo, Jessica, in 2003. With that said, he couldn't shake this overwhelming desire to continue to seek out more information on the military. So he went down to the recruiter's office in 2005, and before he left, he had enlisted in the reserves as a logistician in the reserves. That's how he started his military career. He and Jess tied the knot at 2006. He finished his undergrad in healthcare management in 2009, started his MBA, and he and Jess had their first baby, Reagan, in 2012. From there, I don't know if he came up for air. He completed his MBA and commissioned as an MSC in the reserves in 2014, and they had Avon Lee in 2015, and in 2016 was just full of stuff. From there, he transferred to active duty, attended the schoolhouse to complete his HSA course. They had little Atticus, and finally, he packed his family up and moved to Whiteman, where he started his active duty career. As a company grade officer, Jason was charged with learning as much as possible, as quick as possible. And we have a half dozen, maybe more MSCs in here, so most of you guys can relate to what I'm saying. As an MSC CGO, a typical career, we have to get through 6 functional areas in the first 6 to 8-ish years. It's really around the 6 mark because we need to look for a career broadening opportunity after about 6 years. Those are logistics, readiness, resource management, group practice management, information systems, and striker operations. We tend to stay in each position. We're supposed to, about 18 to 24 months. That doesn't always happen, but we're supposed to. So if you do the math, typically you'll get through about 3, maybe 4 rotations before you have to start looking at that career progression pyramid, where we're supposed to be looking for a career broadening opportunity. If you're motivated, you can get through 4 or 5. If you've got a good senior leader kind of mentoring you and pushing you along, and you're building confidence and trust in folks. And then if you're driven and really motivated, you can pick up all 6 areas, but you'll have to dual hat as a commander, and that's taking on 2 leadership roles for 2 different flights, trying to learn 2 different things at the same time, which is very challenging in itself. As most of you probably already know, because I'm talking about it, Jason's one of those few that gained his leadership's trust, took on extra workload, and conquered all 6 of those areas. And it's just a true testament to his character, work ethic, and drive. So well done, Jason. An example of his dedication is when he moved out to Whiteman after HSA, he showed his worth by knocking out 4 of his 6 functional areas in 3 years. And then he was also selected as a group commander's exec for 12 months as a lieutenant. And it's not too bad of a start to a career when you got to gain the group commander's confidence as a lieutenant, so well done. In 2019, he had built so much trust and confidence with his leadership that they made him an interim squadron commander and a group SGA for 4 weeks and 3 months respectively. Not too bad as a lieutenant and captain. He picked up his next assignment at Eielson, Alaska, where him and Jess had their final bundle of joy, Camila. Jason finished up his 2 remaining functional areas at Eielson, and this is where he kind of caught that readiness bug. He applied for the Readiness Fellowship and was selected in 2021 to come down here and work for us at PACAF as a Readiness Fellow, and he was a super, super good pick, and we're very happy to have him on our team. Jason is short in the tooth for his career, but has way too many accomplishments in his OPRs for me to share them with all of you. I will simply say that he has been selected for numerous awards in his time in the Air Force, from squadron group and wing annual and quarterly awards to individual and team MATCHCOM level awards. In fact, just last year he was selected by PACAF to be the Young Healthcare Administrator of the Year, which is a really coveted award that we seek to get when we're CGOs. I don't believe I saw any OPRs in his stack of OPRs that didn't have a group or wing level stratification in them. They were full of them, just unbelievable. Jason's the real deal and an incredible performer and a poster child for multi-capable airmen. So if you need anybody, choose. So much so that I personally am having a hard time trying to figure out where I'm going to put him after graduation, because we've got some folks that are leaving this summer, and he would be a great fit for any one of those positions. So Ross and I have got our challenges in front of us. He told me a story this past week about one of the favorite things he likes to do is mentor other airmen, and he loves to give back. He mentioned to me that one time he was assisting an airman on becoming commissioned, and he asked the airman why he wanted to become an officer. The airman responded by saying he wanted to be challenged with the added responsibilities of being an officer, but really he also wanted to make enough money so his wife could quit her job, grow their family, and stay home and raise their kids if she chose to do that. Jason reflected on that statement for a moment and realized that he was already living that airman's life. So he tries not to take things for granted, and when you say you're living the dream to Jason, it has real meaning to him. Our next step for Jason, we're prepping him for Air Command and Staff College. Hard selection process, but potentially he's got the record to be able to do that. If we can't get him there, we'll be shooting for him to get a SGA gig, followed by a squadron commander assignment, but his ultimate goal is to become a group commander before retiring, and if he keeps it up, I don't see a problem in leaving. The thing I love about Jason, aside from his humble attitude, is his willingness to help the team in whatever capacity we need him for right now. He's a fellow, and he's gone all the time, and I apologize, but he's got to learn this job because he knows it better than I do. But he, even when he's back here, he gets in the mix of things to actually do real work that we're doing and not as fun. It's our regular job. So I really appreciate Jason for that. So Jason, I will share with you, as a field grade officer, the learning never stops. In fact, I learned something from you today. Your major first day, I learned something. I'm a colonel, been in for 26 years, and I learned that if you want to tell your parents that you had a ceremony that was standing room only, you only put a half a dozen chairs out. Pretty good. Good. The learning never stops, and you will need to continue to keep your eyes on your airmen, see what makes them tick, ensure you are mentoring, motivating, and continuously supporting them. You always need to check the pulse of your department, regardless if you are in charge of it or not. Believe me, as an FGO, your name will be used in vain. You will be blamed for things you didn't even know were happening. You will become the scapegoat on more than one occasion. But the best defense is to continue to set a great example for all to follow. Hold your members and others to the highest of standards, hold them accountable, provide them feedback and expectation management, and make sure you communicate both up and down the chain of command. As a field grade officer, you will be charged with taking more active roles in administrative responsibilities, delegating those tactical work issues appropriately, delving into more operationally type activities, and finally, you will no longer get to use that excuse for just a CGO. As Ashley Welch said in the Green Notebook, you will be charged to speak up when necessary and sometimes keep your thoughts to yourself. And it's always knowing you could do better, but at what sacrifice? The hardest part about being a good field grade officer is overcoming your own desire to get all things done. And I'm speaking to all the field grade officers and all the company grade officers and all the chiefs and all the airmen in this room. There will always be something left incomplete, an email that went unanswered, a presentation you will never double check, a bedtime story never read, and someone you never took a chance to mentor. This is the hardest part, and you will have to develop a way to overcome the pressure of knowing you could have done better if there was more time. However, one piece of advice I would give you, never sacrifice your family for this job. You've got to find a balance. My entire career, I've been told that we promote individuals based on your potential to lead at the next level. When I am mentoring younger airmen and providing them expectation management, I tell them they should always be trying to work at the next level. Always try to work your boss's agenda, make decisions at the lowest level, and always communicate both up and down the chain. Therefore, when promotion time comes around, you make it very easy for the promotion board members to see you are already working at the next level based on the bullets you have on your OPRs and your promotion package. Working with you for the last 6 months, I have no doubt you are ready for this promotion because in my eyes, you're already performing as a major in the United States Air Force. So come on up here and let's make this official.
Publish the orders. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Air Force, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, integrity, and ability of Captain Jason Pigg. In light of these special qualities and his demonstrated potential to serve in the higher grade, Captain Jason Pigg is promoted to the grade of Major, United States Air Force, effective the first day of January 2023, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. At this time, Captain Pigg's spouse, please come forward to pin on his new ring.
Woo!
It is a tradition.
No one wants to hear that.
It is a tradition that commissioned personnel reaffirm their commitment to our nation by retaking the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name, having been appointed a major in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Colonel General Dr. Mitchell, so help me God.
I, Jason Lee Vernon Pigg, having been appointed Major in the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I take this obligation freely and without any purpose of evasion or mental reservation, and will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office for which I am about to enter, so help me God.
Thank you, Colonel Palmer. Ladies and gentlemen, Major Jason Pigg.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you being here. I've just got a couple quick remarks. Oh, thank you. All right, a couple quick remarks. First of all, Colonel Moran, Colonel Johnson, Chief Piper, Division Chiefs, Branch Chiefs, the entire SG Ohana, and visiting friends, thank you so much for taking the time to attend today. Special thank you for Colonel Palmer, sir. Appreciate the words. Appreciate you taking the time of your busy schedule to dig through my record and look through and pull some of those things out. I especially appreciate the fact that you take the time to genuinely know me as a person. So thanks, sir. An outstanding leader, and I appreciate working for you. Giuseppe, thank you so much for narrating, being the Pro Joe for this. If you hadn't volunteered, we'd probably be having it in a tiny conference room, just trying to get it done. So I appreciate you taking the time and recognizing that it was important. Sandy, thank you. I get cold chills every time you sing. Yeah, you're amazing. So thank you. Thanks for being my cube mate and keeping me in line in the office. Lieutenant Jara, thank you so much. Talking about the hands behind the scenes, getting things done. Appreciate you so much for doing that and making sure that today was a special day. I'm a firm believer in the military adage that we don't get anywhere by ourselves. I've had outstanding commanding officers that encouraged me as a young junior airman, and I've had outstanding, wise senior enlisted teammates as a junior lieutenant that encouraged me, guided me, that helped me be better. So I've been very blessed by being surrounded by outstanding airmen my entire career. This has been a memorable and fantastic year for me, but it's largely due to three groups of people that I just want to quickly highlight. The first one just being the SG Ohana. Even at the base level, I got outstanding support, outstanding mentorship, and that continues today in my role as a fellow here. So thank you all for being there. Second, my flight at Eielson. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my team there. They consistently went above and beyond. They took intent and direction, and they made things happen. Like all good teams do. They built better process and accomplished goal after goal, definitely surpassing anything that I thought they would do there, so I appreciate them. And then the last and probably the most important person that I want to recognize is my wife, Jessica. She's our director of staff for Team Pigg, for sure. She manages our home battle rhythm and calendars. She ensures our 4 kids get deployed to their numerous sporting events and clubs. She takes the late shift when the kids are sick, so that way I get a good night's rest. She remembers all the work potlucks, cooks the stuff, goes and gets it, and makes sure that I look good. She's definitely my better half, and I couldn't do what I do without her. So Jess, thank you, I love you. And thanks again for everyone for coming here today and making this such a special, memorable moment.
This concludes today's promotion ceremony. Please join us in congratulating Major Pigg and his family on his promotion. Light refreshments and lunch will be provided in the SG Directorate immediately following the departure of the official party. Please stand for the playing of the Air Force song. departure of the official party.
Off we go with the flag blue yonder, climbing